Well then, it's been 20 months in the making, but finally we are back at the home of World Darts. This is Lakeside. This is the WDF World Championship. The first match of the tournament concerns two players who are at opposite ends of their careers in terms of experience. Scott Marsh, as mentioned by our MC, Anthony Dundas, is a British Open winner. Won that a couple of years ago, beating Connor Scott 6-5 in the final. He has been there, seen it, and done it on this system. Sebastian Bialecki, on the other hand, still just a teenager. He celebrates his 20th birthday on Wednesday. He could be playing in round 3 if things go to plan for the poll. He's got an action to absolutely die for, and he is one of the hottest young prospects in World Darts, a Denmark Open winner, which saw him qualify for this tournament. My name's Dan McCarthy, and I'll be in the commentary box for the duration of the tournament, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined alongside today by the 2015 champion, Scott Mitchell. And Scott, just before we get into this game, just tell everyone what this place means to you, because you had a few practice darts on the stage just before everyone got in, and you admitted to getting a little bit emotional at it.
Yeah, it was. You know, it's been a while since I've been here, and they asked me to throw a few darts to sort of try and help set up the lighting and do a bit of the scoring and stuff. And yeah, you walked up there and it felt like home, and I immediately knew where to stand and put my foot. It was, yeah, great to reminisce, and you turn around and you just remember that night, January 11th, 2015, and what a special moment it was for me. And like I say, I had a look round in and I could see all my family still sat in the crowd. It was a really weird experience, but the Lakeside is an absolute mecca to darting fans and darting players,
57.
particularly of my age, because that's where we were watching it back in the day on the BBC. So amazing memories to just walk back in the door, and even seeing it empty, the hairs just stand on the back of your neck.
81.
And, you know, I don't live too far away. I'm about an hour away, and all the time that I was playing in the BDO, I had to go past the Junction 4 on the M3. So it was like coming past the place every time I went to a tournament as motivation to try and get 93. Back here. So just many memories of the place, and it's a massive place in not just my heart, for my family, for all darts followers. It's just and I think Lakeside for darts is what football is for Wembley, to be fair.
140.
Yeah, it's my first time visiting Lakeside this week. I've got to say, it's got a lovely old school charm about it in the main playing auditorium. Nothing old school about Sebastian Bialecki, living his last days as a teenager, as I mentioned before. He turns 20 on Wednesday, and he's had plenty of success, not just in the WDF, but away as well. At quarter-finalist at the UK Open. He only lost in a last leg decider in that to Willie O'Connor. And he's the first one to a finish here.
84, Sebastian Bialecki, 116.
One of the more manageable finishers in this kind of range, 116. First start might make it a little bit awkward. Chose not to move across the hockey, leaves himself handily placed on double A, but Scott Marsh to take the opening leg of the tournament against the throw.
40, Sebastian Bialecki, 16.
Double 8 then.
Yeah, that's game short on the first leg.
1 from 1 on the doubles. And Sebastian Bialecki gets the first leg of the tournament, and it'll be a nice early nerve settler for him.
Yeah, definitely. The way that you come into these games, and these big games and high-profile games, any of them, is you want to hit your first treble 20 nice and early and get that out of the way. I know you don't worry. You know you're not going to go a couple of sets without hitting one, but the earlier you hit one, the earlier you settle down. You know you've found your mark on the hockey. And then secondly, you want to go and hit your first double nice and quickly and get your first leg on the board. And Sebastian there, lovely 100 to set things up. First start check out
41
on the double 8, and that will settle him down very nicely indeed.
can't watch Sebastian Bialecki without mentioning the throwing action. I mean,
96.
every player has got their preferences in terms of their setup, how they throw the dart. But if you are looking for a throw as a young player to maybe try and replicate, you'd probably look at the Bialecki one. You won't go too wrong with it.
No, it's smooth as silk, isn't it? It's a steady setup. It's a smooth as silk throw. There seems to be no glitches in it whatsoever. It's just straight up, elbow in the right position, and passing the hand
59.
over the elbow as a pivot. It's the dream action, and I just see this kid getting better and better and better. He's been throwing some good stuff this year, and it's all about getting your timing absolutely right and peaking at the right time of year.
43.
And most players would rather be playing well in January and December and January than they would any other time of the year, because that's when the big ones are on, and that's the ones that matter are on to you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can peak at this time of year, you're going to set yourself up for success. Scott Marsh has got
100.
a delivery that sends the darts quite flat in the board, holds it quite close to the front, which is why they tend to sit down in the board. But this has been a good start for Bialecki, making his debut in this tournament. Scott Marsh got beaten in the last 16 last year to Andy Barton's, who's the #1 seed this year, and the winner of this match
42.
will play Barton's
Sebastian
in round 2.
78.
So a big test awaits one of them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Andy Barton's. He's been around a while now. And when we did the Lakeside draw, you know, he was my tip for the top.
Yeah, that's game short of the second round.
And that's another
Sebastian
tidy 78 shot out there
Third
from
round is Sebastian
Bialecki. He's doing everything right.
Game on.
Double top with one dart. He's on 100%. He's on 100% at the moment on the doubles.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's doing everything right on the outer ring. He's generally
43.
outscoring Scott Marsh at the moment. And it is such a quick format, first to 2 sets, so this game could be over in 6 legs if Scott Marsh doesn't pick himself up.
Yeah, you can be empowered here. I've been
58.
here way back when. I think it was 2011, and I got beat 3 sets to 0 by Martin Adams in 22 minutes. And my whole world, my whole year was based on that
92.
whole game, and to get beat 3-0 in 22 minutes, and actually I think we were on game 1. So back in those days, game 1 was used as the tester game before it went live on the BBC. So I was gone home and on my way home, and
100.
before we'd even the TV had even opened up.
Yeah, it must be such a horrible feeling to lose the first game of a tournament when you've built yourself up, you've psyched yourself, you've prepared as well as you possibly can, and then to be out before the tournament is pretty much even started. So Scott Marsh is hoping to avoid that fate.
It's the one everybody else knows about. It's the one the fans know about, the one that they've seen on the TV, and so they know you're going, they know you're qualified, your local press get involved and hype things up when you're, and it's something that we don't usually have to put up with all year round. It's the attention is so massively on you that's the difference here, being in a World Championship, than say winning the British Open. It's lovely to win the British Open, but nobody really knows you've done it until you've won it. So there's no pressure on you going into it with people expecting you to win it. Whereas here,
98.
very, very different. The hype is all weeks before, and it all builds up a head of steam, and it culminates in you throwing that first dart on your first game.
100.
Managed to squeak a dart into the treble to leave him a 2-darter. This will get Marsh going. And it's not going to go. Just needs to sit the 3rd dart on top of those.
60.
Well, he did, but not far up enough.
98.
So, for a clean sweep in set 1. Has to go down to treble 19. Double 18. Steadies himself.
62.
Well, he is fallible on the doubles, Bialecki. Goes tops, tops.
60.
Frustration for Marsh. The first one was so plumb as well. 36. Couldn't follow it up.
You can hear from Hughes and ours in the crowd that Marsh has got a few in to watch him this afternoon.
Yeah, that's game shot in the first set. Sebastian Bialecki.
Game shot and the first set, as our referee Marco says. Sebastian Bialecki is halfway there, as quick as that.
That's a tough dart for Marsh on the top wire, because his darts 42. Go in so flat, he cannot then get in underneath it.
Yeah, the way his darts behave, he'd always prefer them to go underneath the treble wire.
58.
Here's someone, Bialecki, who has played a lot of darts this year, not in the WDF circuit. The win in the Denmark
96.
Open, which is a gold-ranked tournament, effectively secured his place here. So he's played a lot of darts in the Modus Super Series, reached Champions Week, played on the Challenge Tour, Development Tour, European Tour, 42. In the PDC. There's lots available to him at the minute.
Yeah, there is, and the way that this works with the WDF Gold events, if you're happy to come in as a non-seed and just be in the building and in the room, and you're not worried who you draw, there are varying opportunities for anybody around the world to get themselves to one of these gold events, and if you can manage to win it,
121.
you can, yeah, be here with just that one day's work.
Yeah, Sebastian Bialecki does not strike me as a warrior type. He's got ice-cool demeanour, and when you consider that he's still only a teenager, he's built up a decent amount of experience for his age, and he does look unflappable on stage.
100.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I agree, you know, and he's not the only Pole around. You know, there's Krzysztof Ratajski and Krzysztof Kachuk, two of the main sort of
100.
guys who have probably led the way, so that a young Sebastian maybe would have watched those guys in previous years here, and obviously they're now over in the PDC plying their trade.
83.
Sebastian would have watched those guys and thought, I fancy a bit of this, this would be great for us.
Well, he represented Poland in the PDC World Cup as well, alongside Krzysztof Ratajski. He threw some cracking darts in that tournament. There was a 180 to set up tops, which Ratajski took out. And Poland were able to beat the USA in a crunch leg. 2 darts at tops. Only needs the one.
Sebastian Bialecki.
It is 4 legs on the bounce for Sebastian Bialecki. If you're Scott right now, would you be feeling a little bit worried?
Well, yeah, absolutely. The longer it goes on, we explained about having the getting your first leg on the board, and the longer it goes on, the harder it becomes. And there we go. We finally got our first 180 of the championship, and that goes to Sebastian Bialecki.
58.
236 180s were struck in the tournament last year, so that'll be a target that the field will collectively try and beat. Neil Duff it was who secured success against Thibaut Tricol. He comes 77. In as number 2 seed.
But yeah, very worrying times now for Scott Marsh and the Scott Marsh fans watching at home, because he really hasn't turned 41. Up to the party here. It's not that Sebastian Bialecki is doing lots and lots to harm him, but he's just not found his range at all here, Scott. Always difficult being first 16. Game on in any championship, even in any tournament.
Well, I mean, he's averaging around 71 at the minute, Scott Marsh, so you don't really need to be a massive darts connoisseur to realise that he has to up those numbers if he wants to remain in the tournament.
60.
I don't know if he's feeling a little bit chilly. We are in sub-zero temperatures this week on Lakeside. Bitterly, bitterly cold early December afternoon.
Ah, come on, Dan. I've been here in the snow, and we've had diggers in the car park clearing the snow to get the fans in.
You're a farmer. You'll do any weather, won't you?
Absolutely. I don't use gloves unless it gets down to minus weather, you know. So, yeah, I'm one of those. But, yeah, we've had really cold times here.
41.
In the appearances that I've made
84.
here. And Marco Mayer there, our referee today, I think this is his 10th year here at Lakeside, so he's on his 10th anniversary. Sebastian Bialecki goes across the double 6.
72.
Not to be this time. He is fallible, but with Scott Marsh back on 301, he has all the time in the world that he needs.
Well, that second dart kind of sums up the problem Marsh has had. 3 visits of 41 in this leg. Bialecki won't be worried. Double 3 is there.
Sebastian Bialecki.
He is 1 leg away from securing a place in round 2 of the tournament, where he gets the honour, maybe not a wanted one, playing against the #1 seed, but I suppose you've got to embrace the challenge. If you are to win this tournament, you're going to have to overcome some quality, so what an opportunity it could be for Bialecki.
Absolutely, and a better start there from Scott Marsh. The Martian.
11.
Yeah, this is what happens when you start scoring. Your opponent starts missing. So where Scott hasn't been hitting anything, it's been easy track for Sebastian. He's just been going through the motions, not really having to overexert himself.
59.
And he's got on with the job. And Scott needs to start finding that treble.
I'm a big fan of the Martian shirt that he's donning.
93.
Yeah, we love the good dart shirt. There's a lot of dart shirts out there with lots and lots of players. Sometimes some of the better shirts aren't the players you see on the TV. You see them on floor tournaments. There's some very comical shirts out there.
You're sat next to me now, and it's the first time I think I've ever seen you not wearing pink.
Yeah, I think even when we did comms the other week for the Super Series, I had a pink jumper. So, yeah, you're absolutely right, Dan, yeah. I have got a Chris Mason type shirt on today. But, yeah, it isn't pink.
60.
Another non-treble visit for Scott Marsh.
Yeah, never mind pink. Scott Marsh will be feeling pretty blue right now, but he will have an opportunity to take out 142 just to register something.
And it's funny what winning a leg can do for your confidence. It turns you around, it gives you momentum for the next leg. It's everything you need it to be.
62.
He's got plenty of time. This is a rare off leg for Bialecki.
Good ball management there from Marsh, using the 25 to get himself down to a 3-darter where he doesn't have to hit a treble to get a double. He just has to stay straight here.
Double 10. Accidental double-double, but Scott Marsh is off and running now. And that draws a nice round of applause from the fans here in attendance. I don't think it was a purposeful tops, but might tell me you're wrong. The first start was high to the point. I was wondering if he was going double-double.
But because they're going in flat, you know, that first start wasn't an issue for him. He just wanted to get another one a bit higher, and he slightly overdid it. But hey, 59. Look, came out with the right conclusion. He hit that double 10. little bit more bounce in his step as he walks by now that he's got a leg as he comes back by, and Bialecki will be looking to hold his throw here.
Still blowing his hand. I think he's feeling the chills on stage.
180.
Bialecki red hot on the treble 20. Second maximum of the game.
Sebastian Bialecki, 133. 59.
Not the greatest setup, but it probably doesn't matter at this stage, because Scott Marsh is well adrift.
100. Sebastian Bialecki, 74.
So 74 for Bialecki. He'll head treble 14 route. 20 now for tops.
Game shots.
It's the match. It's game shot of the match to Sebastian Bialecki. I couldn't quite see there past that camera shot whether it was in or not, but it's definitely in. Marco Mayer, MC calls it. Bialecki will be more than happy with that result. He will now take on our #1 seed, Andy Bartons, in round 2.